I'm Alex Megos, I'm 23 years old now, and I'm a professional rock climber. What does climbing mean to me? I don't know, it's pretty much a lifestyle, I would say. I couldn't imagine living without climbing anymore. I just get up, I go to the gym, I go to outside rock climbing, and that's what I am, that's what I live for. I just enjoy the whole process pretty much. I enjoy being out with friends, I enjoy training, I enjoy traveling for climbing and just making new experiences and seeing new cultures through climbing, and I think it's just some sort of lifestyle you've got.
Okay, I'm gonna do that one time, okay?
Only once, yeah?
Only once. Oh, God.
The first time I walked into a climbing wall was when I was maybe 5 years old, 5 or 6. And it was through my father who brought me to climbing. I was pretty much psyched straight away. I entered a kids group when I was very young, and I went climbing, once a week in the local climbing wall. I really enjoyed it, and did a few local competitions in my hometown, and it just got bigger and bigger. My daily training regime, well, I do train every day. I rarely have rest days, which doesn't mean that I go climbing every day. So training as well means going running or doing antagonist training or doing all sorts of different stuff as well, because I think that training lots of different things is important to keep the body in balance. So I definitely try to train something 7 days a week. But of course, if I feel super tired, then the training might just be go for an easy run and then have some stretching session in the afternoon. Normally when I'm training, I mostly go bouldering, just because we haven't really got any rope climbing facilities nearby. So if I go climbing, it's 95% of my climbing training is on the bouldering wall. I was actually competing in the World Cup as well. When I was 17, 18 and 19. I did 4 World Cups, 3 times Chamonix and 1 time in Perth in Belgium. And the thing was, just when I finished school, when I graduated, and I just wanted to pretty much travel around and go climbing. And the problem was that if I wanted to continue to do World Cups, I would have to stay in the national team, which would have meant I would have to do all the national competitions and all the international competitions. And then my calendar would have been so full that I wouldn't have really been able to travel around. So at that point I just said, okay, for this year where I've got free time pretty much, I want to dedicate myself to rock climbing. And then I just stopped competing and exited the national team and said, okay, I'm just going to go rock climbing. And since then, I don't know, I never really started competing anymore. I think at the moment I still prefer routes to climb that are already established, but I think that'll shift at some point. I think I haven't really seen any virgin rock yet where I would say, well, fuck, that's the king line, that has to be bolted. I think if I ever walk past a bit of rock where I think, whoa, there should be bolts in there, that's the perfect line over here, then I'll definitely bolt it, I think. I don't exactly know how I got injured. It just, I got an inflammation in my tendon over here in the middle finger. And it started quite slowly, I would say. So it was not one session or one event or one move where I felt it afterwards. I just could feel it a very tiny bit after one session in Sheffield, after a hard training week over there. And then the week afterwards, I could feel it more and more because I was a little bit sick and I still continued training. Not very smart, don't do that. It's super stupid, I realized. And that was basically that week when I could feel it actually, and it got worse and worse every day. And then I took off 2 weeks of climbing, totally off, and I expected or hoped that it would be gone after that. Went climbing one day after the 2 weeks break, and it was like the 2 weeks break didn't exist at all, so it didn't improve at all. And within 3 days of climbing, it got worse, so my finger swelled up massively. And I went back to the doctor and he said, well, we have to do something now because the break didn't work. And his option was cortisone or an injection with your own blood. So that was the first choice I took then, since cortisone has got a bit of a reputation that it's like poison sort of. But it still wouldn't get any better, and I could just feel it when I was crimping. So I would open hand everything in those 3 weeks, but still it wouldn't make it any better. And then I went back to the doctor, and then he said pretty much, well, at that state, there's just one option I've got, and that is take the cortisone injection and then break another 3 weeks and then see if it gets any better.